And Trump posted bond in his New York civil fraud case. And in the New York hush money case, a judge expanded a gag order. NTD's Jeremy Sandberg has the story.
Trump on Monday posted a $175 million bond as he appeals the judgment against him in the New York civil fraud case. A state appeals court last month lowered the bond amount by several $100 million. Trump's attorneys previously argued that covering the original $464 million bond was not feasible. The bond will pause any action that State Attorney General Letitia James could take against Trump's properties in response to the judgment. In February, a judge found Trump liable for overvaluing his wealth. Trump has appealed the verdict.
Today, justice has been served. Today, we prove that no one is above the law, no matter how rich.
The bond will hold until at least September, when the state appeals court also sets a schedule to hear Trump's appeal. If the court upholds the judgment, Trump will have to pay the whole sum, along with interest. But if Trump wins, he will be refunded the amount he has posted now. A judge in Trump's so-called hush money trial expanded a gag order against the former president. The order from last week prevented Trump from making statements about witnesses, jurors, prosecutors, court staff, and their families. Now the order will also include family members of the court and the Manhattan DA. The case revolves around Trump's alleged payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, which prosecutors say violated campaign finance laws. Trump has denied having an affair with Daniels or any wrongdoing in the case. The gag order comes after Trump made a social media post mentioning Judge Merchan's daughter, Lauren Merchan. She's a Democratic political consultant. Trump wrote on Truth Social that she, quote, makes money by working to get Trump. Judge Merchan said this will make everyone involved in the case fear for their loved ones and interfere in the administration of justice. Trump's lawyers argued that his comments are protected under the First Amendment. They oppose any expansion of the original order. They wrote that Trump's comments about Judge Merchan's daughter should be understood as criticism of the court and not a personal attack. They argued that criticism of government is constitutionally protected and asked the court not to grant the gag order extension. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
Turning now to the Trump classified documents case. Today, attorneys are expected to submit proposed jury instructions in response to Judge Eileen Cannon's unusual request for the submissions. We turn now to our legal correspondent Arlene Richards to find out what Cannon could be looking for. Arlene, thanks for joining us. What specifically did the judge ask for?
So she specifically asked for proposed jury instructions on two different scenarios. And what she's focusing on and what the defendants and the prosecution are focusing on are counts 1 through 32 out of 38 counts. And those counts address the case, the heart of the case, basically from the time that the documents were transported from the White House to Mar-a-Lago, from the time that he had conversations with the National Archives, and on to when the FBI actually came and searched his Mar-a-Lago residence.
And why did she order this for only counts 1 through 32?
So this stems from two motions to dismiss that the defendants filed, in which they asked, for one motion, they asked that the case be dismissed because they said that the law that's being used by the prosecution is too vague, and that law is the Espionage Act. And they said that there are certain terms within that law that are not very clear, such as unauthorized possession. They said, what does that mean? Who is it that can authorize the President of the United States on whether or not he can take classified documents out of the office? And the other motion was a motion to dismiss based on the fact that they said that was the wrong law. Espionage Act is not the proper law to be used in this case, that it should be the Presidential Records Act. And under the Presidential Records Act, Trump had the authority to decide what documents he could take out, even if they were classified, based on what previous presidents have done. And what the judge is saying is, well, these are two competing scenarios here. How are we going to instruct the jury at the time of trial? On the one hand, the jury would be allowed to look at the classified documents under the Espionage Act, and they would be able to determine whether or not those were documents he was allowed to have. And under the prosecution's theory of that, he would have just been a regular citizen, not the president. And under the other scenario, under the Presidential Records Act, he would have had full authority, and so the jury would not be allowed to look at those documents. And so these are the two scenarios she's trying to figure out how that would play out.